Hello and praise the Lord. Thank you for joining us. My name is Alex Mugabe, and next to me,
Shallon Mugabe.
my wife of 13 years. Shallon and I, by the grace of God, are involved in a ministry we call Family Care. Family Care is a ministry about families. Our desire, our passion, our goal is to help build families that are rooted in faith, in love, and God-fearing. Today, we are hosting a group of couples here to learn together, to walk together, to encourage one another, and to grow together. We are glad you can join us.
And when we meet, something we do regularly, we encourage one another, we share from the Word of God, we share testimonies, we pray together, and we sing for the Lord. And so today, we are hosting a couple that is very special to Alex and I. They prepared us when we were getting married. Olivia and James Maguru will be our guests today, sharing their story, their experiences, and encouraging us. Welcome to Family Care.
As we have mentioned, Family Care, and allow me to ask my wife to proceed from here. Mine is to welcome you, and you're most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, love. I am Shallon Mugabe, and my husband Alex Mugabe is the one sitting across. Today at Family Care, we have special guests. We have Mr. James and Mrs. Olivia Maguru. Along the way, you will hear us fondly calling him OJ and OO because that is what we call them. That is what we know them as. We've worked with them for as long as Alex and I have been married. And that is 13 years. What is interesting is that when we were getting married, the church where we were married, St. Francis Chapel, had and still has a program of preparing couples in a program they call premarital counseling. You are attached to a couple that works with you and prepares you for the marriage. And for us, we were honored and privileged to be prepared by OJ and Olivia. They are the ones that prepared us. If you see a well-prepared couple, if something is wanting, they are back to finish what they started. So welcome with us, OJ and Olivia.
Thank you.
They are parents. They are parents to 3 children. They
Four.
haven't come with them.
Therefore,
They are 4.
yes.
I am late. They have 4 children, and they'll tell us more about themselves. But I would like you to know, Olivia and OJ, that we are privileged to have worked under your mentorship. We are confident that you prepared us well.
Glory to God.
It is our prayer that you will be proud of us, that we
Very
will carry
proud.
the testimony the way you gave it to us. And so welcome to Family Care, a ministry that you birthed.
Talk about birthing. Earlier we were joking of generations. George and Jacqueline, please if you could come close. So,
Yeah, sure.
please.
You can actually come with a cushion. And
So since you commissioned us, we have also, after some time, we got engaged in the same ministry as you know. And George and Jacqueline, among those that we have passed on what we received from you.
Wonderful.
Amen.
Yes. There are others who are part of family care who are not here today, but we thank God that George and Jacqueline could make it. Our salon, Lallon. Yeah.
All right, let's go in. And now I'd like to give an opportunity to Olivia and OJ to please introduce yourselves, both for the friends that we have here, but also for the sake of our viewers that are benefiting from this program.
Thank you, Shallon and Alex. We are greatly humbled to be here, to be part of family care. Very honored, very excited. Our ministry is our passion. And just to take you back, we got married in 2004. That was 16th October. So we've made 17 years walking the journey. And like we were sharing earlier, it's not a journey you walk alone. So as soon as we got married like this, we joined the Marriage Fellowship of St. Francis Chapel. So within that fellowship, we got older couples who mentored us, who walked with us. And as a young couple, as young marrieds, we got grounded. So at about 4 years in marriage, they said, no, you people are very ready. Yeah, you are very ready. You need to start mentoring other couples. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. So you need to join that ministry and get on running with the other couples, sharing what you've learned. And that's how we started. And we are privileged to have them as our very first couple. So we are so excited. Yeah, first of all, we are humbled. It's a mixed, a mixed feeling. Humbled, having children who have now run faster than you. They have already, So it's exciting. So 17 years of being married and still counting. Excited about it. We don't even know how we got into 17 years. It's like yesterday when we just got married. Yeah. So that's about us. We are employed, we work, full-time jobs. So when we hear people saying they are quite busy and there's no time for fellowship, that is a disservice, because when you say you're too busy and you forget your marriage, because marriage now is, I think, even what pushes some of us to go and work. I'll tell you, if there was no marriage, I think, between me and her, there would be no reason to go out there and do more work and work harder. Because there's reason I'm going to work. And she encourages, when I'm going out to do my work, I know when I come home tired, stressed, all beaten, she'll come and say, no, you have something, take a shower, this will pass, We serve a God who's able to see us through all these earthly challenges and whatnot. So that's a bit of it. I'll ask her to add some bit of introduction.
Yeah. We stay along Matuga, Kasangati Matuga Road. Yeah, we've been there for 5 years. Before that, we were this side of Namugongo. And maybe to add on to the excitement, I remember when they gave us Shallon and Alex, we were like, okay, we've been trained. But shall we manage? I remember telling the leaders, then, you people, we are only 4 years in marriage. And they're like, are you ready? You go. You go, there is no one. As in, people are many and we don't have other people to do it. So we went, so you were like the firstborn, how you learn to nurture a child. You were the first ones we learned from, first experience. And we kept on telling God, this is for you. So may you do the teaching, may you do the raising. And since then we have left it to God. Whenever we take on a couple, we are like, God, you do the teaching. because we know we are not perfect. But the God in us can make everything perfect. So we have a passion for marriages, and it has kept us going. Anything for marriage, we are there. We are like, yes, that's it. Marriage, families, we are there. Yeah, that's what I can add on.
Thank you.
The experiment worked.
Thank God.
The experiment worked. Shallon and I are here, taking after you,
We thank God.
enjoying ourselves. And like you mentioned marriage, we are there. As we mentioned, OJ, we love that name. James is, yeah, James, but OJ. OJ is OJ. So OJ and Olivia, they're going to share with us part of their story, the highlights of their story, this journey of marriage. And then we will be interacting with them to learn more from them. What have they learned? What have they experienced? What can they leave with us? I know if they are to tell their entire story, maybe we might need another day, but it's up to them. They'll be free to share the things that they feel they would like to share in this fellowship that will encourage us and strengthen us for us to learn from. So, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex and Shallon, and all the other members of Family Love, Family Care. Where do we start from? I think for starters, we could look at what is the purpose for marriage. I mean, when we get married, there's a reason we all get married. And it's so important for us to go back and think that when we decided, when I saw Olivia, and my heart skipped.
It did?
Other than skipping, what was that thing now that motivated me to get married to her? What motivated her to get married to me? I think there are many reasons, but from my side, from my perspective, I saw her godly character, you know, the image of God. She's somebody who loved God. Very interesting because she comes from a family where they are Roman Catholic, and I was raised in an Anglican family, Church of Uganda. But we met and that clicked. You know, I saw she was passionate about her love for God. I was also passionate. I was in ministry, you know, doing Alpha course, very active at St. Francis Chapel. And well, I'm like, okay, we seem to be clicking, and what next? What do we do? How do we go about the thing which is exciting us? You know, the early days of being in love are quite exciting. That fire, the butterflies, the electricity you feel when you are with her. But it was simple. We were very humble people, also not very old in the field. We were fresh from school. And of course there was a lot. There was a lot we needed to think through before we could say, yes, I will marry you, or I'll get married to you. I don't know which is which. Whether I'll marry you, I'll get married to you. And so when I said purpose, what is the purpose? So through premarital counseling, that question comes up. Why do you want to marry so-and-so? Oh, she's beautiful. I want to have children with her. No, I have this desire which I need to quench. And I think she's the one to do it for me. So there was that, you know, being Christian and living a life of purity, and you're looking forward. So for me, I used to tell my friends, I look forward to the honeymoon. I can't wait. I can't wait. This is the moment I've been waiting for. So there was that, but through counseling, we understood the bigger purpose, that it is actually to raise a godly offspring. We are supposed to step in God's shoes of being co-workers, and then being able to raise up a godly offspring, support them through life, and ensure that when they grow up, they are able to do what we desire of them to do. So it is a realization of purpose for being in life, and for fulfilling what God started himself in Genesis. You know, when he said, go out, be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth. Yeah? It was a command by God. So it's a mixture of all that, you know, going out, having children. Of course I was looking forward to having children with her. And I thought we'll have very beautiful children together. Yeah.
And you do.
And we do. God has blessed us with beautiful children. So there was that. Maybe she has something to add about why we got married, and then we'll push it from there to tell you our journey, part of that journey. What do you want to add?
This man swept me off my feet. While I was growing up, I had this life planned out for me. I will first study, do my master's, get a very good job, then think about marriage. When I'm about 30-something years, so that this man does not limit me. In case I want to do my master's, there's nothing like, you know, you have to cook for me, you have to clean for me. I like telling people that we make plans, but the Lord determines our steps. I think I had been in the field like for 2 years, and he appears. Very focused, very determined. But I liked the image of God in him. While I was young, I would pray for a husband. Surprisingly, in school they would tell us, you pray for the man you will get married to, and we'd all laugh. Because it seemed weird. How do you pray for a man you will get married to? You've not met him. But I would tell God, now I tell you what, a tall one, a short one, a dark one, a rich one, and I'll just say, God, one who fears you. So I met this man, and he fears the Lord. He was very serious. But for me, if it is not God, then we can't happen. So he swept me off my feet, and before I knew it, all the other plans had gone on hold, and I was jumping in. And whenever I would tell her, I'm getting married, they're like, There's even a friend who asked me, Olivia, have you learned how to, in English, what is it called? Okweguya, eh? To need someone. Yeah. Because I was this very independent person, you don't stop me from moving on my journey. You be my friend, but do not block where I'm going. So this gentleman came in, and the rest was
History
thrown out. But I liked what I saw in him. I could trust what I saw in him, because you know you have all these fears. Will he treat me well? Will he do what I've seen others doing? But God brought him, and the confidence was there. Over that is what they say, how do you know? You will know when you know. They never tell you what exactly is the knowing. But you will know when you know. So when I met him, and off we went. And I still testify that I thank God that he's still honest up to today. You know, I would tell that even if he tells me the sun is out at midnight, me, I will believe him. Because I know he does not tell lies. So that honesty, that truthfulness gave me that confidence. And off we went. The rest were to learn on the job. They train you, they give you the counseling sessions, but really it is learning on the job.
Maybe to add, when I found her, I told you she was from a Roman Catholic background. So one of the conditions was you know, we need to have clear direction. Yeah. So I'm like, you know, if we are to get married, I mean, for me, I'm Anglican, and we are not about to change it. So you have to agree that you will be comfortable. So I said, you know, let's give it a try. I'm going to invite you to my church. You come and see how we worship. You see the activities we have at church. If you can fit in, if you're comfortable, then we can discuss more. If you find it strange and doesn't work for you, it would be too bad for us. She said she agreed. This focused man, let me go see. So we visit church. Yes, we visit church. I asked her, how was it?
And is this St. Francis Chapel?
St. Francis Chapel, yes, it was St. Francis Chapel. So we visited. She was very active at the university. She used to be at St. Augustine. So very active. Now switching to the other chapel, she had never crossed there in her campus life. So now after campus, I'm introducing her to St. Francis Chapel. And she came, saw the place. I invited her. I think we had Easter production or Christmas production. I can't remember. One of the productions we came, invited her for an alpha session, which I was teaching at one point. And she told me it's okay. I find it okay. I'll fit in very well. I said, fantastic. Yeah. So that's how we started our journey. She's a very active minister at church. She's into women's ministry. She's into praise and worship. You know, she has run faster than me. Now for me, I'm too busy with worldly things. You know, when you get work and work becomes another job that you have to do 24/7. For her, she has availed. She was a perfect match for me.
Amen.
So I really thank God, and I continue to thank God for her. That in all this, the journey, the marriage walk is not simple. Like we said, you can't walk it alone, and you have to agree if you are to successfully walk the journey. I've seen her support me in prayer. I've seen her support me financially, you know. There are so many stereotypes about marriage, and especially a sentence of Chala, you understand. Her money is supposed to be her money for her staff. But I've seen this lady, I think she spends more than she gets. That's what I think. I don't even know, because I've never had her asking me for money to buy children's stuff. Not even food, not what. I even forget about buying, you know, bread and milk. You know where they say a real man is the one who comes back with a kavera. I don't go with a kavera. No, she takes it home. And so she compliments me so well that it even motivates me to work harder. Now, what also helps is the transparency. So where there is transparency, especially in finances, it also helps. I've seen us being too transparent, but I told you I don't know how much she earns. Even today we are discussing, and I'm like, by the way, where does your money go? Because I never hear you ask for money, I never hear you, you know. But what we agreed to do is there's always money available. Our ATMs are available. She can get my ATM card, withdraw money. I can get her ATM card. But of course, we are a bit, I'm a bit privileged that I earn more than her. So I don't always look out to getting her ATM card. So I always give her mine, given the support she gives, running the home and all these things. There's no reason I can withhold anything. So it's just making it available, withdraw money and putting it there. And I'm comfortable she's not going to waste money. I've heard of men who get so worried that, you know, if my wife knows how much I earn, she's going to blow all that money. Before we know it, we will not have any money. That is not my worry. In fact, when I don't have money, that's when I'm more worried. I'm like, what are we going to spend now? Because I always have to disclose. Any increment, I bring the letter and I show her that, you know, God has answered our prayers. This is an increment which has come. Where there's a promotion, this is the letter. Please see, the hard work has paid off. And you know, that's what has kept us, that openness and doing things jointly, you know. We say when we buy land, it is joint ownership. When we are doing anything, we consult each other and we agree. There are certain things, okay, where we trust more the other person to do, but we will still do the consultations. So it's not a smooth road. I'll not say it's a smooth road, but it is one where we learn daily. We have to learn good habits and learn the bad ones, and then learn how to work together and overcome the conflicts that come. We've not had a conflict-free marriage, even with the openness. The conflicts will come, attributable to many things. Many things, communication, fatigue. You know, at times it is work fatigue. You come from work and probably you've been pissed off by something at work, and it comes into the home. At times it's the way we handle things at home. Maybe I'm not happy with how she has handled the children, and I start, you know. So it hasn't been easy, but what has kept us going is knowing God. I told you at the beginning, I phoned her as a God-fearing lady, and she phoned me as a God-fearing husband. So we've kept that. We've kept God at the center, and whenever we have issues, we agreed, even through premarital counseling. And every other couple we talk to, actually for us, the other reason we are still standing is premarital counseling. Because as you're giving out your heart, you keep correcting yourselves and reminding yourselves on what good things you should be doing, how we should be forgiving each other in marriage and letting go of things that are not essential. So one of the things that we do is separating ourselves from the issues. You know, you have issues in marriage, get the issue, put it on the side. I don't treat her as the issue. She's not my problem. I'm not her problem. We separate the issues, put them on the side, and we deal with the issues that we are faced with. And we also made a resolution many years ago that the package we have in me, in her, is that which God prepared for her and for me. So whether it was a raw deal from God, that is it. It was nailed and sealed. We sealed it, period. So the fakeness that comes with it, you have to bear with it. And the good things, you thank God.
You enjoy.
Yeah, so that has kept us going. And we always say, God, please help. When things are bad, we are like, God, your daughter, please assist. And somehow, it has helped.
Maybe I can add on to what he's saying. He talked about the conflict resolution, because this is what tends to rub us the wrong way, and then before we know it, we are saying irreconcilable differences. I've given up. You know, I can no longer manage that man. I can no longer. The differences are going to come up. For example, he grew up in a Vachiga home. I grew up in I'm in Uganda by growing up. So that is a whole package of differences. We are going to get there and the things don't add up. So what are we saying? We are going to conflict. But what have we agreed to do? We are teammates. We are working together for the good of ourselves. That is why we can even separate the problem from our marriage. He is. But in the beginning, he was too straightforward for me. You know, where I grew up from, things are boycotted. They are not just thrown at you, sugar-coated, sorry. They are not just thrown at you. Where he grows up from, things are just... I mean, why have you done ABCD? Why do you leave on the lights all the time you leave a room? Why do you put charcoal on the sigiri and you leave it without a saucepan, without anything on it burning? As in, he says it the way he sees it. And I'm like, Where is the love? Where is all this I had thought this man is going to do for me? Love me, carry me like his queen, like his baby. So along the way, we have had to grow up. We have had to mature together. Because we agreed we are in this journey together. No turning back. That is when the road deal comes in. If it is a road deal, sorry, pray to God. But there is no other deal you're going to get. You're not going to exchange this for something else. So we need to know that there is no other option. It is either us to moving or dying, because there is no option. I even tell people, you sit down if you need to sit. But you know you're going to get up and walk. If you need a break, get the break. But you're going to get up and walk the journey. And since we know it is for life, there is no other option, then let us try to enjoy it. Because there is no other option anyway. So you try to enjoy the journey as you move. So we are going to conflict. Then in the evening we are going to say, but we are just doing ourselves a disservice.
Giving the devil a chance.
Giving the devil a chance to tear us. I'm like, really where we've reached now. Getting annoyed should not be really for 2 weeks. That was then, where I would get annoyed for 2 weeks, for 3 days while you're not talking. Now let us learn, we sort our issues, and then we move on. We can no longer afford to be silent treatment of 1 week or 5 days. Now that we are moving, let us learn that the silent treatment is for a few minutes, and then we talk about the problem. Not like when we were in our first year where we do silent treatment of 2-3 years.
2-3 years.
Sorry, days. Days or weeks. Sorry, not years. Yeah. So as long as you know I'm in it for the whole, all the way. There is no turning back. There is no moving. Reverse gear, only moving forward. That keeps you going.
I'm curious about something you've talked about, that we are in for a long haul. But you know, realistically, sometimes it can get hard. It can get difficult. OJ ceases to be the OJ that was. Even Olivia loses the drive. We'd like to hear from your experience. When it has been that hard, what has helped you to return on track? When Olivia has not had you, has not understood, when you have felt, really, this is not what I signed up for, what has helped you to pick yourselves? And now you're here, actually, even encouraging us.
Well, I think for us, what appears to be easy might not be as obvious to everyone, but having a firm foundation in God has helped a lot. Knowing that we are just sinners, forgiven sinners, and knowing that the vows we made were before God, and that God is the author of this marriage we are in, and there are certain standards God expects of us. So having that blueprint engraved in our hearts is what is critical. Not as a couple, by the way, individually. And that's where I started from. That when we were starting this relationship, what attracted me was her being God-fearing. And it has kept going, you know. She now inspires me more. She's so prayerful. I see her praying and I'm like, I thought I knew how to pray, you know. I thought I could pray better than her. You know, there's even how we think we can grade prayer. It is God who knows who prays best. But she prays. She's one person who's always on her knees praying to God. And I'm like, honestly, how can we let down God? How? I'm God's son. How do I let down God? I made vows that I will love her for better, for us, in sickness, in health. And these are things, these are vows we make, these are commitments we make with, through counseling. We told you we were counseled. Counseling helped us rethink. And for us, we had a chance to work with Uncle Ben, because at the time the ministry was not so established, but we would have sessions. We had Uncle Ben, and I remember him telling me,
Is this
can you...
Reverend Mugara?
Yes, Uncle Ben, Reverend Mugara, Benon Mugabe. He said, I want you to recite those vows from your heart. I'm not going to allow you to read this book. Prepare, you go, read, memorize, keep them in your heart. We'll keep away the book. That's what he did to me. So it was after serious thought, having these words in the heart, not just off head. Many times the couples, the best man will get the vows and read for you, and the matron will read for you, or the priest is going to read as their wedding. He said, I'm not going to do it for you. I'll not allow you to have that book. So this was after a serious thought, and I can assure you, it worked. It worked, and every other day, what keeps me going is thinking about the vows I made, the commitments I made, not just to her, but to God. So if I put God out of the equation, I would be a total failure, because I would have no reason to keep my commitment. So for me, and I think for her, it has been our relationship with God that has kept us going. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just to add on, without God, the forgiveness will not make sense. Without God, there will be nothing like hope tomorrow. I mean, when we're in that place where you're like, no, this man today really, he has overdone it. How could he shout at me? How could Oje, who loves me so much, shout at me? I know I've done something wrong, but how could he shout? I don't like being shouted at. May God help me not to shout at others also. So, but in all that, maybe you are seated, you are quiet, the voice of God, the Spirit will rebuke you. And that is when, unless it is God, then it will not make sense. Then you will stay where you are. But when that still voice comes in, but what did you vow before me? To hold on till the very end. What you've done, and are you so perfect? The rebuking now comes in, and are you so perfect? What would then you remember? Oh, by the way, I also contributed something. Maybe if I had communicated better, we wouldn't have reached this place. Maybe then all the other thing comes in. But that is my son. How are you treating him? So it is that you have cultivated, the word of God that's in you, that will pick you up from where you are. It might take a day, it might take an hour, it might take a minute, but that is what always picks me up. So you, like Jesus told the man, pick up your mat and walk. So you pick up yourself and you continue moving the journey.
In fact, I have a follow-up question. Yeah. Let's share with us, if you don't mind, some of those places you have been, challenges you have faced, conflicts you have had, that the Lord has helped you overcome.
Wow. Okay, let me allow her to go first. Maybe the ladies usually have a better memory. Any conflicts, challenges?
I don't know, between me and him, who is more impatient? Between the two of us, who is more impatient?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm more, as in, I easily, I don't like saying I'm hot-tempered, but I I easily spark off, I easily, when I'm rubbed the wrong way, especially by my friend, I easily feel, no, it should not be him to do that. Sarah can do it to me, but not him. So, so as in, what am I trying to say? That I can easily allow Alex to wrong me. Alex does not love me as much as he loves me. I can allow Shallon to do something, but for him, for him,
Not you.
not him. Not him. This one made a vow to love me, to cherish me. So the most of the conflicts I can think about have been him, the way he has talked to me. Maybe we are arguing and he throws a word. So, and I get so annoyed. Too annoyed. I can't, I think you even start to cry. You know, when the anger is too much. And you cry, and then he's like, also you cry. Because also him, he is annoyed. Yeah. But even you can't even remember where the conflict could have come out of, like, why you're conflicting. But I think because you have come not solving a certain issue. So here you are, you're too angry, you're crying, and he would say, also you cry. So I think that is like a conflict I can remember that we had, and it was paining, too painful, and you first cool down, you cry, all the tears, they come out, and you can't even remember why even you're in this place, because what caused the conflict is not even anymore there, as in it's not the picture now. Now what's all about is in trying to solve this conflict, we have hurt ourselves even more. It could have been something small like, help me do this, and you forgot. So that was not even, now it's even no longer the issue. Now it's, as we are trying to sort out ourselves, we have even hurt each other the more. Because of the way we've communicated, because of what we have exchanged. Yeah, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through. And then you rise up tomorrow and you look at this man, and he's the man that what? That's
Safety of the feet.
Exactly. And there is no other, and you're like, by the way, I'm sorry. Let us move on. Yeah.
So maybe to add, it's not major things that really stress the marriage. For us, when you look back, there are little things here and there, the way you talk to each other, the way you react over a certain issue. It could be even on the road. We are driving, we've left home happily smiling, and she's telling me how I was almost knocking. For example, you are about to knock a boat. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm seeing the boat. I don't want to tell me how to drive. You know, little things. And before you know it, you're in the car, you're not talking. And I'm like, oh my goodness. At times, you're going even to church, even going for counseling. And it happens, and I'm like, okay, God, what lessons are you telling us to pick from this? So little things, if poorly managed, can escalate into bigger issues. Bigger issues, and then it creates a lot of discord, or disconnect in the marriage. If I think, if I look back, the major issues that probably we encountered, I don't know, I didn't consult, so I hope she's okay with it. There's a time we delayed to get a child. And not that we didn't have, we had 2 children, but we had prayed for a 3rd child. Was it a 3rd child? And the 3rd child wasn't. Nothing was happening. Everything was okay. So we got a bit of stressed, but we prayed. We were in a fellowship. So we had people who were praying with us. We got people praying with us. We had fellowship praying with us. And one day, he just happened like that, that she conceived, and we are just thankful to God. I don't know that that's the child we lost, but we lost that child after birth. It was quite also a trying moment. After waiting, praying, and then God answers. That time we were praying for a boy. We had 2 girls. We have 3 girls now and 1 boy. We were praying for a boy. So in fellowship, we were telling guys, pray with us, we need a boy. This time we need a boy. And God answered our prayers. She conceived. When they went for a scan, it was a boy. But it was a tough marriage. I can admit it was a tough marriage. Tough pregnancy. We kept on our feet. We kept on our knees. So we kept praying, and the 9 months passed, got our child, and just saw him for a few days. I think about 3 days, and he went back to the Mecca. I remember giving thanks in church. I said, God, we prayed for a boy. You gave us the boy. We are not going to complain. We shall just thank you for what you've done. But in all this, fellowship was standing by us. Fellowship, I saw ladies coming, keeping her company and whatnot. It was so powerful, that bond, people coming and looking after you and trying to provide and giving financial support. It was overwhelming love, and I mean, that's what fellowship is all about. That's why I'm excited when I hear about this kind of fellowship, family care. It goes to the root of love, in the marriage. You come together, you understand your issues. So what took us through was fellowship. People who trust and believe in God. We have relatives, we have friends, but the friends in fellowship are such a unique group of friends. These are friends who are closer than even our real brothers and sisters. People who come and you feel you can open up to these people and give your heart to them. So those are the challenges, some of those challenges that we encountered, but we've seen God seeing us through with the support of other people who are married and who are believers, not just married, because the way the world looks at marriage and the ideas we hear from the world, the media is awash with so many things about marriage and what should make a marriage work. But when we in fellowship, it is real stuff, deep stuff, and it has kept us going, and we don't regret being in fellowship. And that's why we're excited when we said, you guys come and meet our family care, family care ministry. So I hope we've answered you.
So this is good.
Thank you.
Don't give up the meeting of together in fellowship. You can come when you're so heavy, but by the time you leave, you've been lifted. At times even the problem has not been tackled. You've come back the way you've gone back the way you've come, but the spirit has been lifted. So it's really good to stay in fellowship.
Wow, thank you so much. Maybe you can give them a hand. I remember that time of your loss. It was a very heavy time on all of us as a fellowship, because we knew how you had prayed. But we thank God that you're here testifying about it. So we are going to take a short break, and we can stretch a bit. And when we come back, you might have a question. The story is not yet done, but I thought, so that we don't go too far, and maybe you have a question that you wanted to ask. But I will close with this, that as you shared, I've picked a number of lessons and I've been writing them down, but there's this one that stands out. When Olivia was talking about God and how God helps you come out of that situation. And this is the way it occurred to me, that having God in my life, having the Spirit of God in me, is a voice of reason within. A voice of reason within. When I'm being reasonable, that voice of reason from within tells me, hey, you're being unreasonable. You're being unreasonable. Because when you don't have it, then what are you going to listen to? And most likely you're going to, you must have had these programs, you call in with an issue, and everyone is advising. And you have this, ranging from bad to worse to untenable. There's so much that people are saying that if someone was to implement it, maybe they wouldn't even know how to start from. So I like the fact that having God in my life, having Christ in me, the Spirit of God in me, that's the voice of reason from within that helps me get back in shape when I go out of shape. And with that, let's break it here. We will come back.